This is going to go through a position to try and improve the reaching behind the back, combined internal rotation with shoulder extension. I found that doing some isometric activation of the muscles around the shoulder, moving deeper into this position really helps. So I just want you to see, I'm going to do this lying down, but just to see what I'm doing, right? So as I take my hand behind my back, typically if I'm stiff, my shoulder is going to want to rock forward, right? So I'm going to start off maybe with my hand just at midline, right in the back of my sacrum. And I want to see if I can stand tall here, and I'm going to be laying on top of this arm. I'm very lightly just going to pull my elbow back and then let it relax. First thing I'm doing is I'm kind of puffing my chest out, pulling my shoulder a little bit down and back as I pull my elbow back and relax. It kind of incorporates me pressing the back of my hand into my pelvis. Now if that's fine, from midline I would go towards my opposite hip pocket and do the same thing, a very light press my palm into my back of my hip and very lightly pull back on the elbow. I just want to watch as I do that. I don't want to let that shoulder creep forward. So I want to make sure I'm up nice and tall. Push back and relax. And then from here I'm going to go, making sure there's no space right here. I'm going to go up and across, so maybe up to maybe my waistline on this side. And then same thing, that same pinch of the elbow. And obviously the higher up I go, the more tension I put on the whole system. Right? I want to make sure I'm always in a position where I'm short of a lot of pain here. So tension is okay, but I don't need to force this arm up all the way, because once I get here and I try and pull back, it's going to pull more. And if this is already sensitive, some pain may come with that. So standing is an okay position to try this, but then ultimately lying down is going to keep me really stable. So same concept, I'm going to be laying on top of my hand. Right? It's the same midline, opposite hip pocket. I'm just going to go right up to above my waist. Now I'm going to see here that this is going to want to pull my shoulder forward, especially if I'm a little stiff, right? So as I'm laying on my arm, I'm very lightly going to press my elbow down into the floor and squeeze my shoulder blade back. And this really isolates that stretch, because with me having my weight on top of my arm and gravity pushing down this way, it's a little tougher for me to round forward because I'm laying down. So the natural force of gravity is going to be pushing me down against the table. It is worth mentioning, now that I'm laying here and I have my arm in my back, I don't want to shoot my back way up off the ground like this, right? My arm's back there, so there's going to be a little bit of a curve in my spine, but I want to think about as much as I can, flattening my lower back, maybe a little bit of tension in the stomach as I pull back. And I'm going to feel a stretch somewhere through the top of my shoulder. And I'm just going to go through these little isometric presses, holding each one 3 to 5 seconds, and then relax. So this can also be done in standing or sitting with your arm between you and the back of a chair, but laying down works really well if that's a possibility.